Blog Talk Radio.
We'll do it tonight. Push the president and his wife. We're holding for ransom or take their lives. Sack their embassy. They are our enemies. The president is most the gun. Anyone he does not like, he shoots or puts behind bars.
All right, and welcome back. Another episode of Loose Den here. That was Coup d'etat by the Circle Jerks. Great song. And Coup d'etat, a military takeover, martial law, all that type of fun stuff. And so we're back. We had a great show last week. Awesome numbers. Right now, it's the most downloaded show in the history of this network here, I'm pretty sure. It's pretty good, so thanks to Kyle for that. And yeah, it was a great show last week. I don't know why it got so many listens, so I would hear some feedback on that, or even some constructive criticism would be appreciated as well. As I'm the new host here, I'd like to be able to gauge your responses. I've got a lot lately, but last week maybe what set everyone off was that talk on the sort of military resistance to the Judeo-American establishment here in the States. So I'd like to get into that, maybe not tonight, but maybe in the future. I try to have someone on with regards to that. And just you know what's going on in Renegade. By the way, you can chat at renegadebroadcasting.com. And I'll give out the call numbers in a minute. But here at Renegade, we have pretty much some stacked lineup the next couple days. We got Drew Ma tomorrow. He's going to be interviewing the Fetch. I think that's going to be after Fetch's show. I'll get the exact time in a minute. And we got part 2 of Azaziah and Drew Ma's discussion. And that's coming up Monday. We've got a pretty stacked lineup. Oh, and directly after the show, you can tune in and check Fetch out on Oracle. He'll be covering for Lee Rogers, and he has a pretty cool guest, Blackbird from the chat. He's a sort of an NSA whistleblower. He's had some involvement with the Masons, which I believe is going to be their topic tonight. And he was a whistleblower for NSA and Libertarian Party. He's a pretty cool guy with a lot of cool views on things like that. So definitely check that out. We had Sledge on last night. Sledge had a great show. Check that out. So the Hasbrat pack is gunning and running. We got me, we got Sledge, Kyle, we got the Rebel, we got Lee, we got Fetch. Uh, the whole crew is doing good. It's glad to see that. So anyway, tonight we're probably going to be getting into some issues involving, excuse me, science and things like that. Einstein. Oh, sorry, that's the anti-Hasbrat pack. Mine's floating right now, I guess. That's the anti-Hasbrat trap. And speaking of, rats do seem to be leaving ship lately, so that's good. If you know what I mean. Our competitor, as it will, for this time slot, seems to have left Oracle, so I think we'll all miss him. He had a very special place in our hearts. So that's something to think about. And I was talking about this military thing. And the thing about that is, if Romney does get into office, Romney does have some very close ties with the Mossad and CIA. If you didn't know, the CIA is largely made up out of Mormons, and Mitt Romney is the queen of the Mormons, if my intelligence, secret intelligence operatives fed me that information correctly. And what I think would happen if Romney does get into office, you see all these guys in the military don't kind of want to go along with it. So I can actually see him, like he said he wanted to make a strong military and all these types of things that he's talking about. So I can see him try to restructure the military with more of a basis on the CIA. And if you look around at what's going on in the Middle East and all these kind of cloak and dagger operations that are going on there, these CIA, like these type of Iran-Contra type of operations, well, if the CIA gets a stronger hold or a much stronger hold over the military, I mean, plus with Netanyahu's connections with Romney, that's definitely something to look out for, because, I mean, we might have seen nothing yet, and that's definitely something for the white hats in the establishment to try to sort of cock block, I guess you could say. So that's definitely something we need to keep our eyes out on. And yeah, the anti-Hasbrat pack is an idea whose time has come. That's right. That's Steve Owisco in the chat. And yeah, you know, I just have to say, it's great to have this great crew. And I like that we all have our kind of niche abilities and things like this. I mean, I look into more kind of a philosophy type of angle. We've got our master political junkie, Sledge. We've got our sort of revolutionary, Truma. We got Kyle, who's another sort of code breaker type of guy. We've got Celtic Rebel, who's sort of the face man type of character, and a lot of this crew is brought in by him and his sort of social abilities, which gave him the ability to break down these social mores and propaganda based on these social issues like that. So, and we've got got old man Fetch, the old and wise Fetch. And we've got Lee, who's sort of sort of this workhorse of what we're doing. He's out there every night breaking it down. So it's great to have all these guys together, the anti-Hasbro pack, and yeah, we're going for the gold. We're going to see what we can do out here. And like we get every day, we're getting bigger. I mean, numbers here are great. Numbers here lately at or over there at Oracle have been insanely good. And yeah, so it's great to have this type of thing going up. Excuse me. And so, yeah, so we're going to get into some things revolving science here in a bit. Talk about Einstein, Aether, some plasma cosmology, things like this. First of all, where can we start? Well, actually, there's one other issue I'd like to get into. I was reading an article over at the Occidental Observer the other day, talking about how it was by Kevin McDonald. I've mentioned him a couple times on the show, and I was talking about how the Asian communities in America are starting to take up this role similar to what the Jews did in this, in the sense that they're, getting all these college educations and getting all these types of jobs, in that sense that they're sort of an intellectual elite. They got a bit of money and they have this kind of still have this sort of genetic connection and like this like group cohesion, like I was talking about on other shows. And by the way, I think this is largely what's holding back a lot of the European peoples, is this effect of like white guilt as well as Christianity on the population. Because if you look at what it actually does, it sort of holds us back, at least in a lot of ways, but one of those ways is IQ. I think that, and you see all these scientists, a lot of them are atheistic. I think there's more to, and there's a lot of early ones who were eugenicists as well, and maybe we'll get in that a bit. But they set us up in this way that we're always doubting ourselves. Just like in Christianity, they say when you go to hell, you'll be judged eternally. But look at these Christians that are running around. They're like, oh, I dropped a toothpick. Did I sin? Did I sin? I better go to church. Like stuff like this. And it's a very debilitating sort of mindset to have. And I think that's largely why you've had this in our culture. And largely why we're being held back and we're able to have this sort of thing pulled over our eyes. Oh, and by the way, the call-in number, 323-784-3637, 323-784-3637. And call in anytime if you want. Try to keep it a little bit on topic for now, but we'll put up open lines a little bit later in the show. Open topic, rather. So I think these things holding us back are a lot of these types of mindset, and it's always out with the new, or in with the old, out with the old, in with the new, right? And just like how they got rid of Christianity and they communist, right? So, and then they put in this Christianity's going out. They put in this white guilt, this sort of socialist this communistic mindset, which was larger than that. In fact, the word racism was invented by Lenin. Well, I guess I can touch on the eugenics thing a bit. Originally, when Darwin came out with his theories, the Jewish establishment didn't like that very much. In fact, especially the Talmudic, because I mean, this was back when everyone just followed Christianity and they didn't really have a choice. And not only did it give them a possibility to get away from that, it also challenged a lot of their different theories and stuff like that. Like you can see, like a lot of these, like they would say, "Oh, we're all the same," or all stuff like this. There's clearly some differences, and I mean that science is kind of put down. I mean, if you followed the original postulates, you might actually find out something shocking that's not on the tip of our tongues, not that we're just thinking about right now, and they might have tried to stop that before they found out. That's my point with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that, for now anyway. But anyway, back to the Asians. We've talked about a bit, and we'll say, okay, we all got to work together against this. You see this in the arguments with these white nationalists, right? So we always say the blacks and all these people, we got to work together, but I don't see people talking about the Asians as much, and I think this is one group that we should be able to, we should try to bring into our sort of fold. And I don't even see many Asian people around the sort of truth movement. I don't know why. There probably should be more. I mean, arguably they got hit worse than the Russians with communism. I mean, if you look at Mao, sure, Mao wasn't wearing a yarmulke or anything like that, but hey, he might have been partly. And he surrounded himself with all these different advisors. He must have had 3 or 4 Jewish advisors. One of them was Morris Cohen, a couple others. And we see them around. I mean, they got all these sort of starting to get a little bit of influence in the United States anyway. So maybe it's I don't know, that also outsiders, and you see this done with the Jews a lot, trying to appeal a lot to these outsiders. But I think they could be an asset to the team, as it were. Especially, as well as if you look at the interplay going on in China. In fact, a big reason why you see a lot of them over here in the universities is that the Communist Party has a lot of play in the universities over there. And yeah, sure, they work hard, they go to school all the time, but a large part of that curriculum is basically CCCP rhetoric, communist rhetoric that they force in there, and basically brainwashing. And you see them come over here, they don't work nearly as hard, and they get a good degree. And they're fairly intelligent. You do see a lot of them. In fact, I do follow a lot of the different science blogs and things like that. And when you do see a lot of this new science coming out, you would often see it'll be Wang and Smith, or Cheng Cho and McKenzie, scientists, right? And so that we work quite well together. In fact, if you look at it genetically, we are actually genetically closer than excuse me, to the East Asians than to Africans or Native Americans and things like that. So, I think that would be something to explore, for sure. And plus, if we can, I know what's big in China now is this sort of young intellectualist movement that are sort of not happy with the ruling party, and you've got all these. What's happening now with a lot of them? They're coming here, and they're going back, right? So people bitch about China a lot, but I think we can see a lot of change there for the positive. They do act similarly to. Hang on one second. Okay, just got a scheduling note there. Yeah, they do act very similarly to sort of national socialist type of society. And what would be most effective there would just be probably to push it in that direction instead of sort of a big revolution. A lot of what's going on there, you see the old Red Guard over there. It's a lot like the baby boomer movement here. You know what I mean? It's these old farts who won't let us do anything fun. And I do see a lot more of a positive change with the Generation X and things like that, but baby boomers really suck. Anyway, I just got a program update from Jeruma. And the schedule with Fetch 2 p.m. Eastern and Part 2 with Azazaya on Monday is going to be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So definitely check those out. All right, so shout out to Jeruma. So anyway, let's start to get into the bulk of the program here. Let's start with, let's talk about the moon landing. Okay, I brought this up in a couple different chat rooms about the moon landing, and I mean, most of us probably started off thinking it was a government conspiracy. Now, I tend not to think of it that way. If you look at those who brought us the moon landing, that alone tells you that it doesn't seem like it would be a Jewish conspiracy. It was kicked off by Kennedy. It was worked on by the Project Paperclip Nazis mostly, and it was sort of finished by Nixon. And these were three entities that weren't too hip on the Jewish establishment. And we're going to look into that a little bit more, why they might want to do that. But and I mean, there was even a Fox News special on the moon landing and like how it was fake. A lot of the characters that came up against the moon landing were Jewish. If you look at the number one place where people don't believe in the moon landing, it's in Russia. I tend to believe that sort of started with, Pravda before the fall of the wall type of thing. The sort of typical Jewish lies, and in itself it is sort of an inversion, like I always talk about on here. And I guess let's make this our inversion of the week. And this is a good example too, because like so many Americans are, it's a close place in their heart when they find out about the moon landing being fake. It really, or the alleged fake moon landing. It's very sort of crushing, and it turns out this great achievement that they should be uplifted by, and they use it to sort of turn against their host and make it think there's this, sort of crushing government conspiracy against them. And I mean, this is very typical of an inversion, because you really see what it does here. I know we have a lot of American listeners. A lot of them probably think it was a hoax. And that probably was like a big turning point for them. I know a lot of people don't really care probably more so with the older people that this would be referring to. I mean, I'm Canadian up here. I didn't really younger guy as well, so I really didn't know what it was like to feel this. I do a bit, but I never really looked into the moon landing too much before when I was in conspiracy mode. Like thinking it was all this Illuminati conspiracy type of thing. But if you look at it as a Jewish conspiracy, it doesn't really hold water. Plus, if you look at the scientific findings that were found on the moon, like during the sort of misadventures to get to the moon, you see stuff like, even like little things like Velcro and all this different sort of satellite technology and all these different types of materials. I mean, so they just randomly invent these types of things just to, sort of convince people that this happened. I don't really think that's very accurate. Furthermore, like I know there's a lot of different arguments against it, but I mean, if you even look up counter arguments and make up your mind with that. I mean, that's what I usually try to do. That's what I did concerning issues like Holocaust, who runs different things. You just look at both sides and decide for yourself, and that usually tells you what's going on. I mean, just look at them both sides objectively. It's usually explained. Now, so that was, and so like this is this type of thing where the Mosh wants to keep Whitey down, right? And that was pretty damaging. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the conspiracy movement sort of wrapped around that, and a lot of the fake conspiracy movements, all the stuff like gray aliens, and these UFO landings, type of stuff. There might be something to that, but you see all this reptilian garbage that they always push. So, I mean, that's just sort of a gateway drug to that. So, I mean, that's something to think about. So, anyway, I'm just going to play a quick song, and I'll be back in a minute.
All your legends lined up, and I never felt more natural. Apart, I just came apart. Please, 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 Sister Socrates, you always answer with a question. Show some kindness to a petty thief. Forgive, you did forgive. Watch the migrant smoke in the old orange grove and the red rocket blaze over Cape Canaveral. You've been a father to me, your 1960s speak, give me comatose joy like rerun TV. While the mountainside was shining wild colors of my destiny. I watched your face age backwards, changing shape in my memory. Taught me victory sweet, even deep in the cheap sea. Hey, hey, hey. way. Can you deliver me from evil? Make me honest, make me wedding cake. Atone, I will atone. Wait, mighty outer space. All that flying sauce of terror made me lazy, drinking lemonade. A waste, it just went to waste. Like the free on cold out at the hotel door, or the white rocket fade over Cape Canaveral. You've been a daughter to me, your buried shoebox grief. I felt your poltergeist love like Savannah heat, while the waterfall was pouring crazy symbols of my destiny. I watched your face die backward, little baby, in my memory. You told me victory's sweet, even deep in the cheap sea. And you don't judge me, that's not your style. But I won't see you for a little while. There's no worries, oh Lord, who's got time? All these changes gonna fill your mind like the citrus glow off the old orange grove, or the red rocket blaze over Cape Canaveral. It's been a nightmare for me. Some 1980s greed gives me parachute dreams like World War movies, while the universe was drawn perfect circles for infinity. I watch the stars get smaller, tiny diamonds in my memory. I know that victory's sweet, even deep in the cheap sea.
Alright, and we're back. That was Cape Canaveral by Bright Eyes. Sort of sums up that little conversation there. And another thing about those evil Nazi German scientists who like changing people's eye color and, I don't know, whipping people and turning them to soap and push them in the dirt, taking mud in their eyes and things like that. Another thing they were working pretty vigilantly on was cancer research. In fact, most of our modern cancer research comes from them. And we don't really know how far they might have gotten with that. And I never hit me to the other day, just to realize, I mean, we've all had someone who had cancer, and something like that. It's pretty much epidemic now. It's another chop up another thing to the Talmudic Syndicate. What they've done to us is stopping that research. And now we just take these pills, they're $100 each. Things like that. Oh, take this nuclear radiation. And I mean, they probably could have came up with some kind of quick fix to stop that. And pretty damn terrible. Anyway, give a quick shout out to the chat room. Got Drew Ma, Greg from New Jersey. We got Kyle, we got Steve-O, and we got TMZ in the chat, as well as a few anons. And if you want to join the chat, you can come to renegadebroadcasting.com. And yeah, they're having a farewell party to Bob Tuskin, I guess. So I like to pour a 40 on the sidewalk. That'd be a waste of good booze. Anyway, I'd like to talk a little bit about Einstein, Albert Einstein, Time magazine's man of the century. Yeah, so Einstein. What did Einstein invert? He inverted something because, that's what they do. They wouldn't be given this press. He wouldn't be this rock star guy. I mean, he did invert the truth. So, basically what Einstein sought out to destroy was the concept of the aether. If you haven't heard of the aether, it's this, it's one of many things. The modern interpretation of it in scientific terms was sort of to be this medium at which light and things of this nature travel. So it's the light bringer. So just like Lucifer, her old friend Lucy. So why would the Talmudic bastards try to get rid of Lucy? She's a nice gal. They tried to, try to get rid of the moon as well. So, I mean, guess this is something I'd like to do. So basically, if you look at the origins of Einstein, what he did, I'm getting a lot of this from a book by Roger Schlafly. He has a PhD in mathematics as well as a degree in electrical engineering. And son of Phyllis Schlafly, who was sort of a Cold Warrior back in her day, sort of involved with sort of conservative right a bit, but I mean, back in her day, she did smash a couple commies, so I got to give her props for that. And I don't know, Josh Reed seems to think she's an evil monster who lives deep beneath the Pope's secret base in under Wackwall, Texas, or something like that. So that's probably not true, but something to think about. So basically what Einstein did, now the theory of relativity itself is sort of an inversion. It was actually originally thought up by two electrical engineers in the work they did, Pointcare and Lorentz, who were two great scientists who probably should have the accolades that Einstein does today, but they don't. As well as a couple others who worked pretty well on it, as well as like Maxwell. Those three guys were all electrical engineers, as well as Tesla as well, the famous Tesla. So let's look into this a little bit further. Basically, the original theories on relativity came from electromagnetic concepts that were found when these couple of guys were doing research on the issue. In fact, Poincaré was one of the first modern people to propose a sort of electric universe. And I mean, I don't know why we all just don't accept the electric universe theory. If you want to, I mean, since like Einstein tried to argue for a kinetic universe, with just all this motion and dead objects and things like that. And that's pretty much already been debunked by mainstream science when it was found out that the sun is plasma or electrified gases as opposed to as opposed to combustion, a nuclear furnace. So, in Schlafly's book, How Einstein Ruled Physics, if you're more interested in this, pretty much goes into detail about how he did it. I mean, all Einstein's original publications, they had no citations whatsoever, which was it's pretty damn unheard of in a science paper. But I mean, he had the press behind him, so there you go. See my notes on here. Yeah, oh, and of course, Einstein was a rabid communist, much like our moon friends. Or our friends, we want to cover that up anyway. So, let's look through my notes here. Okay. Okay, now let's look at how this sort of relates to the concept of the aether. Now, so let me go a little bit more on the aether here. It's also known or thought to be related with a lot of these different concepts like chi or kai or life energy, kundalini, things like this. So let's look at what the sort of Hinduistic interpretations are. Okay, so according to one of the principal texts of Hindu philosophy, the Tattva Kulamudi, the creator used akasha or ether, the most subtle element, to create the other four traditional elements. Each element in turn used to create the next element, each less subtle than the last. The five elements are associated with the five senses and act as the gross medium for the experience of sensations. The basis element, earth, created using all the other elements, can be perceived by all five senses: hearing, touch, sight, taste, and smell. The next, water, has no order, but can be heard, felt, seen, and tasted. Next comes fire, can be heard, felt, and seen. Air can be heard and felt. And akasha or ether, is the medium of sound, but is inaccessible to all of the senses. Now, research into this modern aether began to be pretty popular, and around the times of this research into this sort of electromagnetic relativity. And Maxwell, Lorentz, Tesla, all of these electrical engineers who actually gave us the damn theory were all staunch believers in it, and perhaps finding the secrets to it were pretty high on the list of things to do. Let's look through my notes here. So basically, they wanted to cover this up, and I'm going to cite too many examples here, but if you even look up like Einstein Kabbalah or anything like this, you can see where these ideas truly originally came from. They're basically attempts to frame reality in this sort of perverted Jewish worldview, now that we are escaping their stupid damn books and trying to free ourselves. Here they come back again, trying to reintroduce these theories as their perverted and inverted science. Things like dark matter, string theory, Einstein's relativity. These are basic attempts to reframe these ideas into the human mind. Now, if you think about humanity, call us the imagining ape. And the power of imagination is what gives us the ability to think and reframe this world and think, oh, maybe if I tie this rock to a stick, I can eat better tonight. And forward. And similarly, as every action has its opposite reaction, they can use this against us, which they so often did with their religion, with their shitty television, and all of their other little games. So, I mean, it's really important to sort of try to hammer these things out. And in fact, I remember reading something, it was from these sort of theosophic writers, that one of these weird things, like talked about all these races and stuff, but they said once like all these major races were to discover and master all these different elements throughout history, and the Aether was in fact the Aryans to conquer. So that's an interesting concept. I mean, if we're talking about golden ages and things that could bring about these types of realities, if we are able to ascend and master this concept of the Aether, in many ways it could bring about sort of this golden age, energy, or even space travel. So let's get into a little bit more detail about some of the theories, more modern theories anyway, regarding that. Just double check and make sure I don't have many more notes on it. And by the way, with the other sciences, a lot of them are pretty much solid, like string theory, dark matter. And this is the problem with this. I remember I've been having some conversations on this recently about whether or not we should even try to salvage a lot of quantum mechanics or just try to start over. And there's so much bullshit with it. That's a big question. Some of it can be salvaged. There's going to be a lot of work to go in and dig out the crap. I mean, it's just this pile of different equations that are piled on to prove non-working equations. For example, Einstein had a constant, Einstein's constant, to describe one of the holes in one of his theories, and that's basically where the concept of dark matter comes from. And it's bullshit. I mean, it can't be observed, all this type of stuff. And if you trace it back, it's in there in black and white that it was originally made to solve this equation. And that's where all the thought of it comes from. So it's pretty much bullshit. Okay. So, American mathematical journalist Freeman Dyson wrote, "Today the name Einstein is known to almost everybody, the name of Pointcare to almost nobody. 100 years ago, the opposite was true. The theories discovered by Pointcare and Einstein were operationally equivalent, with identical experimental consequences. But there was one crucial difference. The difference was the use of the word Aether." Now, I mean, and we see as time went by, and this is around, and we really started to see the Jews take over a lot of academia. And we might have been onto something. And if we're talking about, like I have on a couple of different shows about the Jews trying to stop a dark age, or trying to keep the dark age going, this is one of such ways they're doing it. And one prominent physics blogger even wrote, Einstein's 1905 relativity revolution can be summarized as a successful assassination attempt against the aether. So, let's see what else we have here. And so if we look back to Maxwell for a moment, and a lot of his work was taken down as well. A guy named Ironside sort of chopped up his equations and removed a lot of the good stuff in them. And as well as Jewishenbaum, you saw a lot of this type of stuff come from the royal societies. I mean, these are the guys that run the Nobel Peace Prize, or Nobel Prize Institute, whatever. And you see all these different people who get these Nobel Prizes. I'm going to talk about that as an aside. I mean, Barack Obama getting this Peace Prize, EU getting his Peace Prize, and predominantly Jewish individuals getting these Peace Prizes. The Royal Societies are essentially Masonic controlled. I give you a look in their buildings. They use the symbolism, so I pretty much tell. I mean, I think Charles Giuliani did a show on this. It's pretty good. So props to him for that, because that question was always sort of bugging me about why that was. But they're basically inversions. You get Kissinger, war criminal, get these. I think all these different other sellouts. It's basically an inversion prize is what it is. Same for science. I mean, a lot of these people got these, inverted these scientific endeavors, much like Einstein. And we do see some shadows of this in modern quantum mechanics. For example, what Peter Higgs is doing. I mean, look at how much they demonize them in their dirt rag conspiracy bullshit, Talmudic tabloid aspects of this truth movement, like Alex Jones. I mean, these people running around screaming like they're chickens with their heads come off, thinking they're gonna open up a black hole to Dimension X or some bullshit. Well, black hole's probably bullshit too. What they're actually close to finding out, if you look at Higgs boson and what Higgs actually proposes in his Higgs field, is quite synonymous with modern and ancient ether theories. And by the way, and we'll get into this in a bit, a lot of this comes from a lot of these ancient ideas. Many modern scientists were, in fact, inspired by the ancients. So let's see what else we have here. Yeah, just have the notes in a book here. Just sure there's not many other good tidbits here. Okay. So even Einstein, back in the late 20s and 30s, even had to concede and say that, okay, well, this was only in sort of off-the-cuff arguments, and Einstein himself would never debate on them. I mean, he probably had a team of rabbis writing all the shit for him. And he was schooled in the Talmud, younger in his life as well. So, another aspect of the ether that Lorenz postulated, it was that it was sort of intrinsically independent of matter. And the connection between it and matter was assumed. The connection with ether and matter was assumed to be as the ether, in fact, sort of this conveyance of electricity. It would have this ability to convey electricity. And Nikola Tesla had an interesting quote here. Let's look that up. And a lot of Tesla's writings and things like this are very interesting. So, and Tesla said, "The day when we shall know exactly what electricity is, it will chronicle an event probably greater, more important than any other recorded in the history of the human race." And I think he's true that. I mean, we still have no freaking clue about electromagnetism. In fact, I mean, I've talked about it being this sort of similar to the masculine and feminine dichotomy, with the feminine being magnetism and masculine electricity. So I think there's a lot to muse on this type of thing with that. One other effect that's interesting is that neutrinos and this sort of radioactive decay that occurs. And that might have something to do with it as well. A lot of the, with ether theory and the sort of new science with neutrinos, now that we have the tools to measure them like we do. And ether being this sort of medium. And in manipulating these different ideas, it might give us these different ways to maybe even travel throughout the stars. Because if you look at electricity, and if it has this sort of covariance with the ether, we see this neutrinos be able to travel throughout matter. And I mean, if we could sort of create this maybe kind of neutrino field or electro-neutrino magnetic sort of thing, could be very interesting. And we look at sort of like electrons are always spinning. And another cool thing to think about here, getting into this sort of plasma cosmology discussion, and that's that electromagnetism is this sort of ruling power in the universe, and the sun as well as a perfect sphere has been recently found. So that's an important thing to think about, because we always thought about electron orbitals going around this sort of like these are little electrons. We used to think of them as having these planetary orbits, but perhaps they're more like galactic orbits. anyway, not to get too far into science, so a little different musings there. You go to a little bit more in a bit. I'll cover up my notes on this. And we will just take a short break. We'll be back in a minute. Actually, let me try to find a song first. Wrong window. Okay, what did I upload here? Oh, and we have a. Let's take this call really quick. Hi, caller, you're on the air.
Woo, baby, this is Drew Ma.
Hey, Drew Ma, what's up?
Yo, man, I'm just pretty much calling to listen in while I'm driving, but I wanted to go ahead and take this opportunity to say it's your 6th show already. I think it's been a great start for you. Last show, about 1,200 listens so far for you. It's the #1 show in History Network with that last show with Kyle Hunt. It's awesome, man. I think you're doing a great job, and just want to encourage other people to use venues such as this to speak out. And, you know, they can take what you're doing and I think learn a lot from it and see the progress that we make doing these radio shows. It's not easy, but, you know, maybe in the long run it might be rewarding.
Yeah, it's neither easy, but it is pretty damn rewarding. I mean, the last month has been pretty much a blast. I love doing the show. I mean, it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. And big shout out to the listeners for supporting me, by the way. And thanks to you, Drew Ma, for giving me the shot.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
All right, so I'm going to find a song first. Anything else? Any other shout-outs you want to give, or?
Yeah, let's give a shout-out to Steve-O from Wisco in the chat room.
Yeah, Steve-O has been a pretty loyal fan. We got to give Steve-O a big thanks.
Absolutely. And give a shout-out to Ethel and some other people that contribute, kicking a couple bucks to keep this thing going. And hopefully we can keep it going throughout November.
Yeah, we're pretty much set for this month, so that's good to know. Let's see.
Yeah,
all right, so
tunes over there.
All right, so I'm going to play. Let's see. Where did I put that? All right. Kill time for I'm looking for a song, and yeah. So Drew Ma is going to have some show tomorrow, and on Monday. Any kind of preview you want to give us?
Yeah, we'll be rocking the Free World tomorrow live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Dennis, the Fetch Show. He'll be broadcasting live from Mount Jordan. Dennis has been on a little radio tear recently. I think he's done about 5 shows this week already. So it's an interesting week to get Dennis, but that'll be an interesting show. First time having him as a guest on the network. So we'll be talking about the Middle East. And then on Monday, we'll be with Jonathan Azaziah for part 2 of our interview, talking about revolutionaries, when we focus on music revolutionaries and Islamic revolutionaries and other people such as Hitler and some big namers like Bob Marley and Tupac Shakur. So some good shows coming up.
All right, well, just going to take a quick break. I'll play some low key for you.
Nice.
All right, be back.
The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people, and so long as men die, liberty will never perish.
Is it just a dream? Am I a fool for trying? I stand defiant, but my enemy's the tallest giant. Will my visions be reality? They tell me never. I wanna feel the unity that Malcolm felt in Mecca. I wonder if it made sense in his last moments. People don't value the soul, cause they can't hold it. Find something real beyond death and misery, and understand the present in the context of history. It's been established Sykes-Picot was a bit of marriage since the day Thomas Edward Lawrence tricked the Arabs. Please be loyal till we're deep in soil. You can ask Mossadegh about BP oil. This is a battle that many better men have died fighting, but I hope to leave an insight through my writing. My pen fires at the men who defend liars. I send fire till the end of your empire. Descendant of the occupied, I represent the sentiments of many men you've colonized. The president is eloquent, but he's never been on my side. His melanin's irrelevant, cause everything was prophesized. There was a time when they talked about the Arab nation. Broke our good leaders, the roadmap was a fabrication. Took your kafir and changed it to a fashion statement. You sat with Satan, Camp David means assassination. Peace in your imagination, that's not real. I've been where Arafat got poisoned and Sadat got killed. I'm not a martyr, I'm just a man without a master's or a master. Runaway slave is freedom I am after. This is a battle that many better men have died fighting, but I hope to leave an insight through my writing. My pen fires at the men who defend liars. I send fire till the end of your empire.
Like virgins, the peaceful dove of Palestine, I will fly, I will rise far beyond the seventh sky. I will break free and soar through the lies, seeking truth, seeking the justice that is mine, the justice that is mine. I will stand, I will climb, I will spread my wings, elevate and rise. I will rise. I will rise. We will rise.
Yeah, so that was Low Key. He's a British rapper from, he's originally an Iraqi. He's from, located in Britain. He's pretty good. He's put out some pretty cool tunes out there. Kind of like him. Still on the line, Drew?
Yeah, 1 second, brother.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Low-key somebody I definitely wanted to talk about with Jonathan on Monday.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah, I look forward to that. Are you just going to continue your sort of discussion on revolutionaries and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's
right here,
it's
take
been a
it
good
away.
topic. All right, man. I'll be tuned in for that. I did have some couple things I wanted to finish off here. Might go to callers in a bit. Do you want me to? Are we driving somewhere or?
Yeah, if you just want to throw me on mute, I just called to listen in.
All right, great. Well, check out your shows on the next couple days.
Thanks, my brother. Keep the good work.
All right, you too, man. Right, so that was Drew Ma checking in. And so we are back to check out the chat really quick. And again, we're chatting at renegadebroadcasting.com. And chat's pretty good. So come out and check it out. If you want to drop a question or comment for me there, you can do that as well. We also have call-in at 323-784-3634. Sorry, 3637. That's 784-3637. So pretty much be opening up the call shortly. I just want to go over a couple more notes I have in here. So yeah, with this ether, I think it's a very important thing to stress. Probably not for everyone to look into, but I mean, it's a pretty wide subject. There's a bit of BS on it. But I think it could lead to something very important. It really sort of originated in our modern culture with Aristotle, who said it would be the fifth element. This is where the phrase "nature abhors a vacuum" comes from. And Paul Dirac, in 1951 letter to Nature magazine, said that quantum electrodynamics basically requires an ether, because, I mean, we're seeing this electrical transference. And this is very important with electric universe theory, because we have these planetary bodies and things like this, which are basically this electrical construct. It's not this sort of kinematic or physical construct that we've been told. And yep, so let's see what else we have here. So anyway, yeah, it's a pretty big subject. I just wanted to sort of introduce it here. It's been something I've been sort of looking at for a while. If you want to look into more things like this, there's a great review of this book I hold in my hands, How Einstein Ruined Physics, by Roger Schlafly. That's spelled S-C-H-L-A-F-L-Y. And that's on the Occidental Observer, so definitely check that out. He does a pretty good review of the book. This is only one part of the chapter here. A lot of it goes more into detail. It's a pretty damn good read. Actually, you probably should read it again. So. I think that's most of what I have to say about that. Right, and that brings into a bit of plasma cosmology. If you want to know more about that, I'd recommend the work by Thunderbolts. Check them out at thunderbolts.info. There's these group of scientists who do research into the subject. I mentioned it a little bit before, and so they are who do a lot of the major research in that today. And Charles Giuliani has actually done a lot of work on that as well. And he's done a pretty good show on it. It's you can look that up if you search Charles Giuliani plasma cosmology I should bring that up if you want to look into it. So anyway, I guess I'll sort of open up the calls and see what's going on there. If anyone wants to call and chime in, I guess we'll just try to chill out. Didn't really get to finish my outline for the show. I had to a little bit more to add on this. But again, it's an ongoing sort of research subject. So probably address it again in the future when I am a little more learned. But it's pretty big things to think about there with regards to that. And these are things that are pretty much reflected in all of these different sorts of ancient religions, especially the ones that aren't Jewish. There was a quote by Werner Heisenberg, and it goes a little something like this. It is probably true quite generally that in the history of human thinking, the most fruitful developments frequently take place at those points where two different lines of thought meet. These lines may have their roots in quite different parts of human culture in different times or different cultural environments, or different religious traditions. Hence, if they actually meet, that is, if they are at least so much related to each other that a real interaction can take place, that one may hope that new and interesting developments may follow. And Heisenberg actually, don't know, I didn't like a lot of Heisenberg's stuff, but his uncertainty principle was actually based on the concept of Maya from the sort of Rig Veda, these Vedic texts, which I believe were originally these sort of ancient European, Proto-European, ancient Aryan ideas, if you follow the language and things like that. They seem to be reflected there, like the similarities between the Vedas and the Edda. And if you look at the the Edda, which I do mean to sit down and read very soon, try to sort of snipe a couple of these principles. Many of them are in there, and if we look at them with new knowledge, whether these people knew it directly or not, or they just didn't have the sort of distractions we do today, they could just sit and think. Like a lot of them refer to plasma cosmology type of events. And that these were the ruling principles of the universe. Basically, maybe they sat outside on a starry night and suddenly a thunderstorm came in, and like, hey, what if these little white dots were like that big spiked white line? Maybe there's something to this. Stuff like that, when you actually sit and look and think about it. And the universe works fractally as well, so these concepts could be coming from something else. Again, unless they're Jewish, in which case it's usually an inversion of that. So yeah, it's definitely something to think about. I think if we are going to find answers about the Aether, we are going to find them in mythology. Okay, so Kyle mentioned the Tao of Physics. That quote was from the Tao of Physics. It was the introductory quote. Tao, basically, it's this Eastern sort of philosophical school of thought. And no, I haven't read it. I actually bought it the other day. I meant to try to breeze through it for this segment, but I had a lot of stuff to do today. and I meant to come and give some examples. So maybe when I do a follow-up show, I will do that then. Kyle, maybe if you want to talk about that, if you read it, maybe I can bring you on. Anyway, I just actually have to take some care of something really quick here, so I'm just going to play another quick song. Try to find something good fairly quickly. I played that last week, but it would have fit here. Yeah, so anyway, this is sort of related to what I was talking about the other day as well, with this sort of natural philosophy. A lot of this comes from this natural philosophy. In fact, a lot of these guys like Tesla and these good scientists work to be natural philosophers. And this is something that's been pushed out relatively recently. The last great one was Tesla. It's observing the natural world. I mean, even scientists say, observance is one of the biggest tenets of science, but they're just taking these little baby steps and testing out this element with this element and all this little tiny work with no or little forethought, or integrating philosophy and scientific philosophy into these concepts, which is something that's sorely missing. And if we look at these attempts to stop our golden age, it's pretty damn obvious what's going on here. Alright, let's play some Bad Company, and we'll be right back.
Die.
All right, and we're back. I was going to try to ring Kyle in, but he doesn't have that well of a connection there at home. So maybe we can have this discussion at another time when look into a little bit more, or maybe we both do. I heard some comments that we have a good report, like we have a good sort of conversation schism going there. So yeah, we're both actually young, upper mid-20s Scorpios, so we have that in common. A lot of our sort of things we look into sort of mesh pretty well, so I'm looking forward to having him back on. And a couple good comments in the chat. So basically, Kyle was saying how ideas thousands of years old about the Tao of physics. Basically, it shows how ideas thousands of years ago described the world in much ways as modern physics. And yeah, so we look back at these ancient ways, much at how comparative mythology works. We can integrate these in such a way that can sort of clear away a lot of the bullshit and lead us to new heights. Okay, so, and yeah, like Ethel was saying, our idea of science is flawed. Yep, exactly what I'm saying, man. Pretty much have to get it back somehow. And Steve-O was saying, where was that? Yeah, something from his era and mindset. Like, yeah, this whole space thing. It should be my era and mindset, too. We should be still doing this space stuff. It should be my era fucking, too, man. Like, it just sort of went away, and now it's, Call of Duty, my era is what? The Call of Duty, fucking terrible music. It's generative television, people with no fucking heart. And it's pretty grimy out there. I am seeing a lot of different people sort of change a little bit. But try to have conversations with people out there and like trying to push their buttons and getting them to sort of spill on their programming. Well, not directly, but it's kind of trying to pry, and it's pretty damn intrusive. And you have these people who I remember I was talking to one guy about some kind of like getting mad at me about some kind of stupid joke someone posted on Facebook, and about like some kind of like Halloween costume or something. Guy with what was it? Someone's like a family dressed up in like a naked costume, like a fake naked costume, and the daughter touching the dad inappropriately or something. And this guy I was like, this is pretty degenerate and fucked up. And this guy was defending to the death that this thing should happen, and it's so important that people should be able to laugh at these types of things. And you could tell he was like deathly brainwashed by things like South Park. And he said, this sort of degenerate comedy is freedom. It's freedom. This is fucking freedom. That's not fucking freedom, okay? It's the last thing from freedom. I mean, even a lot of humor originally, if we look at an example I like to use for ancient history and stuff like that. To parallel how society should sort of work in ancient history. It was this sort of humor that would be building you up, like in ancient Greece. They would have the young males, and no, they didn't mess around with these older males. What they would do is they would get these young females and they would get them to work out together. So whenever these sort of these girls would make fun of the guy for getting a little chubby, they'd work extra hard because you would have this sort of building up aspect to comedy, and I think that's where a lot of that comes from. And it's inverted now, where it's just instead of building you up to be greater, it just keeps knocking you down, and you see this huge push against this sort of bullying today. I mean, I was picked on a little bit when I was younger. I wasn't anything too bad. I wasn't any of the more picked on kids. It was just that I sort of kept to myself and all this type of stuff. But yeah, I don't think it made me any much of a worse person. I think it only made me stronger, which is truly what it was supposed to be for. And now it's just made as this wholesale juggernaut of destruction that they seem to use with terrible results. If you look, a lot of this programming is in these comedy movies, and I think it sort of gives you this attempt, or that gives you this power to sneak things in subconsciously, and in effect that we the normal manifestation of this would be to make us stronger, when it's just completely debauched. I mean, there's no aspect of it that is building you up. It's just tearing you farther down, and that's our culture today. It's pretty damn sick. But yeah, like we used to have this sort of high culture with like all this exploration. We need to move science forward, and yeah, I wish it was my era too, man, because my era fucking sucks. And we should bring that back. Anyway, I'm just gonna get caught up in the chat really quick here. And that's another thing. HARP. People talk about HARP. HARP doesn't have anywhere near the energy to actually start a reaction like a giant storm. If you look at hurricanes, they're pretty much all energy, which comes from the rotation of the Earth, as well as solar energy. Great reactions of hot and cold. I mean, it's like, you know how you burn ants with a magnifying glass. It's trying to burn up a fucking dinosaur with a little magnifying glass. You know, it's BS, but I mean, then we get all these sort of, what am I going to say, like with this moon landing, this inversion of science, these Talmudic Talboid dirt rags, and it's all an attempt to keep Whitey down. So Whitey, don't let the Mosh push you around. And they call Whitey the man. It's not the man, it's the Mosh, and they're keeping Whitey down too. I mean, look what they did to all our progress, man. It's been some pretty damn good progress we made in spite of all these Talmudic pricks. And, yeah, so that's that. Shout out to Celtic Rebel showing up in the chat room. And yes, with regards to the ancient Greeks, a bunch of fops and dandies from England went ahead and inverted all that kind of stuff, because that's what they do. And you do sort of see, speaking of the fops and dandies, people, fops and dandies is like all these stereotypically British guys with powdered wigs and makeup running around with bloomers on their pants acting like complete faggots. And you saw this done over after, not exactly after, maybe about 100 years afterwards, of the complete takeover of Britain. And we're seeing a mirror of that now happen in America. So, I mean, just like we did, just like we had flops and dandies over there, we're starting to see the flops and dandies here in America, just like have people talking about the reset and things working in cycles. And I think that's part of their operations. I mean, you saw that sort of similar thing happen in Rome before Rome fell, is that they pushed this whole sort of homo-degenerative type of bullshit on the people, and that's part of why their empire fell. And I don't know, they do these things in cycles, same as it ever was. Yeah, and that's pretty fucked up what they're all about. All right, and again, we have open lines, 323-784-3637. That's 323-784-3637. Okay. Okay, and what else can we talk about? See if there's any sort of breaking news here through my RSS feeds here. Oh, and by the way, see Rebel in the chat there. I have heard that Rebel will actually be back this week after his short hiatus, so really check that out on Sunday. And I don't know, at 20 minutes left, maybe I should call into Bob Tuskin. I don't know if that would work, that I'm using Skype through Blog Talk here, but that would be pretty funny. Alright, so I just, I guess I'll play another quick song here to eat up some time. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I gotta upload more tunes. Okay, let's listen to some. Where is that? Yeah, well, speaking of progress, let's listen to some Jello Biafra with That's Progress.
Give me an M.
M.
Give me an A.
A.
Give me a U.
U.
Give me an L.
L.
Give me your money.
Sure.
What's that sell?
Mall.
What's that sell?
Shopping mall.
Part of my greed, still addicted, time to leave. No matter if I'm 15, 30 years.
All right, and we're back again. That's Progress by Jello Biafra featuring DOA. And yeah, actually DOA, Canadian punk rock band, they had their farewell tour. They came here, small burg here in eastern Canada, but I missed them. Tickets sold out. Kind of hung outside for a bit. That was kind of cool, but yeah, pretty pissed I missed them. It was farewell tour too, but it was Joey Shithead and the gang with Jello Biafra. Pretty good show. But yeah, that's Progress, right? It's where we're going. We went to the moon. Now we're what? Yeah, we got computers and shit. But I mean, there was my cell phone is 100 times better than the computers that got them there. And where are we now? Right? Pretty damn sad. But I mean, it's just part of the game, I guess. And yeah, but those evil paperclip Nazis, that run the government and they run the banks. Those Nazi banks, like those secret Nazi Rothschilds who enjoyed their Talmud and things like this. I don't even know if America has all these advanced technologies now, because a lot of that progress came from a lot of those types of scientists. And yeah, they have a big military budget, but we have a pretty big banking budget too, and that doesn't get us anywhere, does it? I mean, and a lot of that goes to support their overseas holdings and their bases overseas. I forget how many bases they actually have, but they have in about 50 countries. And they definitely have some. I mean, you can see shades of that in what they let out, but I mean, how creative are they actually? I mean, we see all this progress being done by these paperclip guys, and it was under what's his name, Nixon and Kennedy. And look at the damn progress that happened under National Socialist Germany, when we can free ourselves from the yoke of this sort of intruder mentality. And that's not even to bash the Jews too much, but look at it this way. If your mentality is that your religion says you need to come and subvert and invert all of our shit, letting you into places with power is like letting a fucking NAMBLA guy run the Boy Scouts, right? It's bullshit. Drop the bullshit and, come back to fucking reality. So, yeah, that's progress. And now we got what? All this generative television that's running people's lives. People used to think, how many fucking kids are want to grow up and be an astronaut anymore? I mean, every kid used to want to be that. It's pretty damn hard. I mean, not many of them got to do it, but I don't think many of them are thinking that way. They want to grow up, and I don't think they want to be much of anything. I think they just want to. They're like, oh, when I grow up, I want to sit on my ass and play Call of Duty and smoke weed and go to bars and listen to fucking terrible club music and bang fat chicks. And that's what they want to be when they grow up, these kids. And it's pretty damn sad. And it's my generation, like I was saying about Steve-O's comment there. Pretty damn sad. There's they sucked the drive out of these kids, man. They sucked out their, willpower. And, bring that back when I was first talking about the show, how about this sort of mentality damages the IQ of the West. And just like how Christianity, you're always judging yourself with it. And it's just like this white guilt that you're always judging yourself. You're always, I would be, I would like to say a snide comment here, but I don't want to sound like a Nazi and stuff like this. And if you look at it subjectively, it's pretty damn effective. And I think a lot of what's been holding us back there. So anyway, yeah, it's most of the show so far. We got about 10 minutes left. Oh, and we do have a caller, so let's go to them. 902, you're on the line.
Talking about my generation.
It's another day, this fucking new metal, man. My God. Oh, Limp Bizkit.
Pardon?
Oh, sorry, I stepped on my microphone there. But yeah, was the hot dog, starfish, and the poop-flavored crap or something? So, Steve-O, what are you saying?
How's it going, Lou?
It's pretty good, pretty good. It's chilling out, closing out the show here.
Well,
so, yeah, what do you think about the this whole generation gap thing we were talking about?
I don't know. It seems no matter how hard you try, there ends up being one.
Well, it's not so much... go ahead.
There is one between me and my kids right now, but it just seems like they got to have... I don't know. My kids seem like they just want to do their own thing and have their own way. And yeah.
Well, that's another big thing they screwed up, man. They wanted to, like, this big, you got to be a rebel and tell your parents to go fuck themselves and all this type of thing. You can't be anything like your parents in their old, twisted ways, right? You got to just dance around to club music and drink beer and watch your movies. And then that makes you a rebel, a societal rebel. And I think a lot of that comes from that. You see these kids, right? And their naivete and their innocence, they see what's going on in the world around them. And they want to say, oh, we don't want to be a part of this, right? But as soon as they turn around, they got all these bands and music, all this sort of metal and slasher movies that is used to dissuade a lot of the anger, all these slasher movies. And all these, you look at the youth culture, it's all generated to do that and to bring the kids away from the parents. I mean, it's not so much their fault. I mean, probably every parent in America is having the same situation unless they don't own television.
Well, at the end of the day, it's programming. That's all it is. And they fall for it. And they put them in a situation in public schools where they're with all the same age group, and then it's all their friends, their friends, their friends. That's all it ever is. At the end of the day. Until they grow up. Eventually, life will kick the crap out of them, and, they'll wise up.
Yeah, I had the
Hopefully
pleasure
not too
of...
late.
Yeah, I had the luxury of waking up to this type of stuff around like grade 10. So
That's why I support you, man. I get it. You and Juma are really cool. I really enjoy your broadcast. Very interesting. Don't always agree, but they're always intriguing. They make me
yeah, I do see a little, like, a bit of the younger crowd starting to come around now. But, like, these are the new rebels. Like, originally it was the rebels who brought in this type of behavior. Well, they weren't rebels, but it was this type of attitude, this sort of counterculture, you know what I mean? This sort of pop culture, counterculture, MTV type of thing. But I do see a lot of kids waking up to this type of stuff now, more so than when I was younger. So that's sort of good to see, like with the internet. And even 5 years ago, the content out on the internet wasn't the same as it is now. And you had to really look for good stuff. So, I mean, hopefully you won't see it as bad as it was pre-9/11 now, right? So hopefully that works out.
Could I kind of shift gears for a second?
Yeah, no problem, man.
Before the show ends. Hey, everybody. Lou, what do you think? I know you've expressed interest about maybe doing something with the network a little more, whether it's called Druma's Network or Renegade Broadcasting. I don't care what it's called or who builds it, but...
Yeah, we are expecting to go forward with the Renegade Network. It's still in the sort of planning stages right now. We're trying to get more hosts and
I'd
build it
just
up.
like to give a suggestion. Right, for about the next month, I ain't going to be able to probably do it with you guys, but, maybe consider a conference call when Greg's crap from New Jersey calms down in the weather there, and that gets somewhat cleaned up, and maybe all get together at some time, maybe around Christmas. And have just a conference call or something and kind of talk about it. Because I'm interested. I know you've expressed that, and so has Kyle. So.
Yeah, and I mean, lately we're starting to get the sort of support from the audience. Like we've built up a pretty good base audience so far. I mean,
I think so.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of shows with like 1,000 downloads and stuff. So.
Well, that's good. That's great. I do. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm just trying to start the conversation is all I'm trying to do. I'm not sure if I'm wrong or right. What I'm thinking is the time has come, but maybe I'm wrong. So I don't know. I'd like to hear from other people and see what people think in our group. Okay. That's all.
I was thinking about moving forward with it as well. I mean, we've got a lot of the base. The base that we got the listener base built, I think now. So I mean, it is probably time to start.
I can't do much, but I can kick you a few bucks, some seed money, anyways.
Yeah, well, we need we need a couple more hosts, I think, but we're looking at a couple of people now actually, and
right.
If we can combine our efforts with a couple other groups out there, which I think could be a possibility. And if we all pull our efforts in together, I mean, it's probably something we could manifest.
All right. Yeah, what's the deal with that guest Sledge has on? He's going to be on their show. Is that another possibility there? I don't know anything about that. I'm just curious.
Actually.
Is that one of the ones you're thinking of?
Yeah, actually, I'm actually a big fan of them. If we did start a network, I actually would. I would definitely bring them on. So shout out to them. Yeah, I'm going to just give them a shout-out. Sledge is having Truth Militia on a show Sunday, and you just look them up, Truth Militia. They're great hosts. They're great to kick back and listen to. I've actually been listening for the last month or two, and I really like them.
Well, Lou, make sure you drop some links in the chat for me, okay, and the other guests. I'll glom onto that and favorite it.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat there, and I'll also drop it in the show notes when I get them done up.
Cool beans, man. You want to finish up the show alone? I'll take off if you want.
Yeah, we're just about done anyway. So thanks for all your support, Steve-O. Really appreciate it. You coming out and hanging out, man. It's been great.
No problem. Yeah, love you, man. Take care.
All right, 90 seconds. Cue the outro music. It's been a great show. Thanks for listening.
Hey fellas, have you heard the news? The girls on the down are being misused. I seen it all in a dream last night. Cause this house don't treat them right. I'm leaving here. I'm leaving here. Hey fellas, better change your ways. I'll leave this town in a matter of days. Cause and it rings so true. These fellas turn around to find someone new. I'm leaving here. I'm leaving here. Yeah, 1 by 1. Yeah, 2 by 2. Yeah, 3 by 3. Yeah, 4 by 4. Oh! one day it won't be long. All them fine chicks be gone. I'm leaving here. I'm leaving here. Yeah, one by one. Yeah, two by two. Yeah, three by three. Whoa.